went everywhere for you. I even did my hair for you. I bought new underwear, they blue, and I wore 'em just the other day. Whether you are sweet or cruel, I'm going to love you either way.
Hello and welcome to 30 Things. This is number 25, so it's kind of the final five countdown. And the topic for today is if you could eat dinner with anybody in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and what would you eat? I have been looking forward to this question because I have a really good answer. Um, it's gonna sound really kind of sketchy and fangirlish of me to say, but to be perfectly honest, the person that in the whole wide world, in all of history, that I would love to sit down and have dinner with would be Bill Kaulitz from Tokyo Hotel, the singer. And the reason why is because I think that the question is kind of asking like anybody who's had a big influence on you, um, that you think you would like to talk to and get to know on a more personal level as opposed to just like reading what they wrote or watching their movies or listening to their music or whatever. And I don't know, like he's the person who's influenced me the most, alive or dead, and I read a lot, so I'm not just, you know, giving a cop out answer. I think he's really, really amazing. And just him being on the earth and being alive and having the views that he does was really good for me when I was about, you know, 15, 14, 16 in high school and very insecure. He's a very confident person and he doesn't seem to care particularly what other people think about the way that he looks or what he says or the music that he plays or whatever. And I really, really like that. And I really admired that, especially back then. Because a lot of people, when they grow up, it's good to have that good, like, strong role model that helps you along through those rough years. Because I knew very few people who got through middle school and high school without going through some kind of an awkward stage somewhere. Well, my whole middle school experience was one big awkward stage, which for somebody who was already not very confident was brutal. And so then I got to high school and I was trying to break out of my comfort zone, but I couldn't really do it. I, I don't know. Like it was just not working out very well for me. And so when I discovered Tokyo Hotel, I was at that point where I was struggling to try to figure out who I thought I was and just what I wanted to do. And there was a lot of things that were very up in the air for me as far as who I was were concerned, what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, who I was, how I wanted to dress, how far I was willing to go with how I wanted to dress, so that whether I wanted people to look at me or not look at me, or whether I cared whether they looked at me or not, or just all of the questions that pretty much any teenager asks themselves at that age. And then I discovered Tokyo Hotel, and here's this person who has all the answers to these questions. And I liked the answers, and they were things that I thought I could do. Like, he's just, I mean, he's beautiful. And I think that's really good too, to have somebody to look up to who you think is beautiful inside and out, because that gives you something to aspire for yourself. Not to try to imitate them. I think people get that a lot, like really wrong. I would never want to try to look like him or like, you know, identically or like do my hair like him necessarily or wear the clothes that he wears. But I think he's a really beautiful person. Um, on the outside, he's gorgeous. It's hard to say otherwise. And then on the inside, from what he says, I think that he's a really pure person. And I think that's very unusual, especially in the entertainment industry. And I know it's their job to try to all come across as being very nice and very genuine and whatever because it's there for the fans. And obviously, I don't know if it's a put on or not, but if it's a put on and if it's a persona that he's chosen, then I think it's a good persona, especially for somebody in that kind of a position, because you do have influence over a lot of people, and because the fans, do take at face value what you say and take it to be true, what you're saying better be something worthwhile. And I think the things he says are worthwhile, and I like to think that he really believes them and he lives them because it's a good way to live. So I guess that's part of the reason why he would be the one I'd want to have dinner with. Well, on the one hand, because, and this is kind of a fangirlish thing as well, because I'd want to say that I'm very, very grateful that he says the things that he does and that he is the person that he is and that he pursued the career that he did because that somebody like me who really needed a role model like that was able to find him. And so I would want to say that. I would also want to see if he really was the kind of person that I think he is. And that's kind of a dangerous one because what if he wasn't? Then would I like regret everything? Probably not. Because I don't know, he still would have at the time been doing something helpful for me. And whether or not he really was that kind of a person now, it's not like I'm gonna go back to being how I was before I thought I knew him or whatever, but it would be a bit disappointing, I suppose. But so I'd want to know whether he really was that kind of a person or not. And I also would, of course, the fangirl part of me would definitely want to, say that I love the music and ask questions about the different CDs and just, I don't know, because I've seen a lot of the interviews and there's still other questions where I feel like they never discussed it or they never came up that I would love to ask and have the answer to or not, if he didn't want to answer or whatever. And I don't know, I just the idea of being in his presence is just that would be really cool. What would we eat? Well, he's a vegetarian, and I'm not sure to what degree, so that might be a little difficult for me because I'm not a vegetarian. Not that I have a problem with that, it's just that I don't know how to deal with that exactly. A salad? I could eat a salad. I guess I would say that because as I said, like I know that some vegetarians kind of veer more towards the vegan side and some of them don't. So I don't know like if he eats eggs or what. So I would just have to play it safe and unless I was able to talk to him beforehand and ask, I would have to go with a salad, which is cool. And I like salad. I think pretty much salad is and everything, but it seems like an appetizer though almost. For a main course, what would I have? Bean burritos maybe? I don't know. Like that would be a really sketchy one. I would have to ask somebody I know who is a vegetarian. And I would probably have to, I'd rather err on the side of too extreme than not extreme enough. So I'd have to ask somebody who's either vegan or who's like extremely, extremely passionate about the vegetarian part without being vegan. That one I'd have to check up on. I'm really not sure what we would eat besides a salad that I would know would be completely okay. And even then, like dressing, I don't. That's sketchy too because, as I said, some of it's probably got animal byproducts in it. That would be very interesting in and of itself to try to figure out what to feed him. But yeah, so if I could eat dinner with anybody in the whole entire planet, I would say Bill Kaulitz from Tokyo Hotel. Um, and then secondly, if you want to hear like a historical figure or whatever, I would have to say Oscar Wilde because he was just hilarious, and I absolutely fell in love with the picture of Dorian Gray, and he just seemed like a really spontaneous, like larger than life, just really fun person to be around. So, yeah. So my first choice, you already heard that, but my second choice, if there were to be somebody who had to be dead for some reason, then I would pick Oscar Wilde. Yep. And that's that. So until I see you next time, I love you and goodbye.